Hello, I'm getting ready to go on holiday to Cornwall. I've never been to Cornwall before. I'm really excited. I'm taking the sleeper train, Paddington down to Penzance, and then I'm cycling around. I'm cycling all over, and of course I will bring you with me. Really looking forward to it. This is going to be my first night and then several nights out of London since March. I don't know what we'd call this outfit. It's like Hunger Games meets countryside rambles. I'm just waiting for my friend Ori to arrive. She is house sitting for me while I'm away, and I'm so excited. I've put my out of office on, so let's go. This is my new home for night. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm ready for bed. I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna sleep. It's gonna be a little wake up call at 7, I think, and arrive at Penzance at 8. So off we go. Good morning. I had a really good night's sleep. My hair is doing something adorable this morning after it plaits. This kind of looks like Hal when I look at it through the camera. Yeah, this was a really very comfy sleeping situation. I was out like a light. They brought me a croissant and a tea in the morning, so I'm waking up slowly and surely. It's about 7:30. Outside it's oh, hang on. Well, you can kind of see it. It's a bit grey and rainy, but what would be a British cycling adventure without rain? So it's not putting me off at all. I mean, what am I going to do? Not be in Cornwall. I'm going to arrive at Penzance and then cycle to Mousehole from the Mousehole Cat. That's my main point of reference from Mousehole, and Land's End. So I'm really excited. Yay! The National Cycle Network sign says go through here. Not really sure that there's a way through here. So green. It looks fake, but it isn't. It's definitely real. This is what the roads look like. Just had to stop to let a car pass by. Just hug the wall. You hug the wall. Sometimes the road just turns into this. If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them, the sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered with those that I saw suffer, a brave vessel who had, no doubt, some noble creature in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or rear it should the good ship so have swallowed, and the flaunting souls within her. I made it to the Minnock Theatre. It's making me miss theatre very much. After her father died in the 1920s, Rowena Cade bought the craggy Minnock Headland and built a house. The land cost £100. Cade and her gardener Billy Rawlings built the theatre on a tiny budget, adding to it over the decades to come. They used bars to split the rocks by hand. They hauled sacks of sand up from the cove below and mixed concrete to build the structures. The Tempest was the first play performed at the Minnick Theatre in 1932. The Romans called Land's End Balerium, the seat of storms. From the tourist site, I walked my bike along the coastal path to Mayan Castle, built in the late Bronze Age, around 800 BCE. Editing this now, I think about the word remains. Remains of a ruin, remains of a ship. There is something enduring, reliable about these castle remains, even though, like all of us, there will be a day when its remains are small grey stones. It's as though the word remains itself holds contradiction, loss, endurance. What is this year, if not loss and endurance? Enduring loss, losing endurance, enduring, losing, remaining. I did not like this hill. I've got off and pushed. This way has some really tough hills, but the reward is amazing North Cornish coastline and some really quiet roads. It's lovely. I'll show you my view ahead. So cozy in here. Oh my god, and there's even Cocoa Pops. Living the dream. I don't need you to meet the rapt stagger. I don't even need you to remember. Just know, now, 7 billion sunsets and here's me, convinced we're seeing the same one. It's day 2 and I'm off up the north coast. This is going to be probably quite a long cycle day, relatively speaking, 75 kilometres to go. So yeah, such a nice sunrise. Still beautiful, still very quiet. Oh, some blackberries. That reminds me of the Sylvia Plath poem. Nobody in the lane and nothing but blackberries. Blackberries on either side, though on the right mainly, a blackberry alley going down in hooks and a sea somewhere at the end of it heaving. Blackberries big as the ball of my thumb and dumb as eyes ebon in the hedges, fat with blue-red juices. These they squander on my fingers. I had not asked for such a blood sisterhood. They must love me. They accommodate themselves to my milk bottle, flattening their sides. A very glamorous stop at the service station in Blackwater for an essential Cadbury Sun. I just bought a petrol station. I think I'm about halfway, maybe a little under halfway. Just lots of A roads, so all going well. Just a little tired, but I'm making much better time than I thought I would, so that's great. This is more like it. This is the kind of energy I want. See, already I'm in a lovely field. I'm really hungry now, so I'm gonna keep going. The rain arrived. It's a bit rainy. Well, makes it an adventure. My insensitive sensibility. Look at me. Hello. Hi. I'll have to go up that hill next. Actually doesn't look so bad from here, but I think it's quite steep. I made it to the pig. I'm so happy. It was hard. Like, there were moments in it that I was just, yeah, exhausted, and then my phone was only running out of battery, but there was this gorgeous moment where the bay just appeared at the end of the road, and I just felt like I was cycling towards it, and I could do any amount of uphill after that. Now I'm going to get some food. I'm absolutely starving, and then I have a massage in a couple hours. There's a massive bath here, and I'm going to have one. There we go. In defiance, I threw myself into my old life. I did what I liked the moment that I thought of it. I sang upon the beaches, rearranged my garden. I called the pigs and scratched their bristled backs, brushed the sheep, and summoned wolves to lie panting on my floor. The lion rolled her yellow eyes at them, but she behaved herself, for it was my law that all animals bear each other. Every night I went out to dig my herbs and roots. I did whatever spells came to mind, just to feel the pleasure of them knitting in my hands. In the morning I cut flowers for my kitchen. is like something out of my famous 5 dreams, really. This, friends, is why they say don't stand near the cliffs. At first I thought that was like wood or something, but it's actually cliff face that has fallen. Look at that. Get slightly closer, but for obvious reasons. Look at that! It's so geometric inside. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. It seemed to me I stood by the iron gate leading to the drive, and for a while I could not enter, for the way was barred to me. There was a padlock and a chain upon the gate. I called in my dream to the lodge-keeper, and had no answer, and peering closer through the rusted spokes of the gate, I saw that the lodge was uninhabited. is a little bit grey today, just a little bit grey.
This was a lashing, pitiless rain that stung the windows of the coach and it soaked into a hard and barren soil. No trees here, save one or two that stretched bare branches to the four winds, bent and twisted from centuries of storm.
It's a bit wet. A couple hours to go to the first stop.
Now the horses were climbing the steep hill out of the town, and, looking through the window at the back of the coach, Mary could see the lights of Bodmin fast disappearing, one by one, until the last glimmer winked and flickered and was gone. She was alone now, with the wind and the rain, and 12 long miles of barren moor between her and her destination. She wondered if this was how a ship felt when the security of harbour was left behind. No vessel could feel more desolate than she did, not even if the wind thundered in the rigging and the sea licked her decks.
Horrible hill. Horrible hill. So what happened yesterday is I was a couple miles out of Lidford and I got a flat tire, and then my phone wouldn't charge, and just a couple of other things. Oh, it was still pouring with rain, and just things suddenly took a turn. I keep calling it my second act because that's really what it was in this journey. But I managed to walk the rest of the way to Lidford, met a couple of strangers and asked them if there was anywhere nearby where I could ask for help, and dialed a taxi from the phone box, went to the local inn, the Castle Inn, where everyone was absolutely lovely, met a lovely couple, had a gin and tonic, and then a taxi came and picked me up about an hour later and drove me to Week Barton in near Bridford, which is where I'm staying. And although obviously it was like gutting not to be able to cycle the Granite Way, I got to go through the road, one of the roads that goes through Dartmoor, which I wouldn't have gone on, and meant that I got to see more of Dartmoor than I would have, including the horned cows and the sheep. And I met, so many lovely people, like the two women who initially gave me directions to the pub, and like one of them offered me her phone. I was like, no, don't worry about it, I'll call at the pub, or call at the phone box. Was so lovely. And then the Castle Inn, the staff were really friendly and sweet, but also this couple were camping nearby in the caravan park, and they were telling me about how their daughter would have done the exact same kind of adventurous thing that I had, but also, funnily enough, their daughter had just moved to Mexico City, so we had all this stuff in common, and it was really fun to talk to them. And then the taxi driver was absolutely lovely. He's from Tavistock and he switches around here, and we were talking about our different experiences of the pandemic, but also just like talking about the moor and talking about the history of the towns I was driving through. Got to Week Barton, which is this lovely long house.
A lot of it dates back to the 15th century. There are beams in my room, parts of the beams that date back to the 15th century, which is wild. Met the other couples who are staying here, and a dog called Oliver, a sweetheart. Had dinner and just chatted with everyone, and it was just really nice to talk to new people, and to have an adventure as well, you know. Like, it was at moments it was a little scary, but I told myself it's 2 hours till sunset. I'm gonna find someone who helps me, who'll help me. I know there's a town nearby because I planned it that way. Stubbornness is a lot of what guides me on things like this, and what makes me keep going on trips like this. And that proved even more true when things started to go wrong. There's like a stubbornness and a determined positivity in there that, like, I will find a solution for this.
My bike is getting fixed. My puncture's getting fixed. Do I have a puncture repair kit? Yes. But the pump I have with me is like a little travel pump. It's mostly for topping up. I have handed my bike in at the Halden Trail bike hire place where they also do repairs. And I know about that because the wonderful owner of the B&B where I was staying, Week Barton, which was amazing, Sam, one of the two owners, Sam and Joe own it, offered to drive me here this morning really kindly, and we managed to fit my bike into his little truck, and we drove it here. We drove it here, he drove me here, and just dropped it off, and they had availability. It's going to be fixed really soon. I'm excited, and it now means I'm at the top of 6 Mile Hill, so I can just go downhill basically all the way to Exeter, which is my next stop, and then I'm going on to Honiton. It's just having those social experiences that I'd miss so much in a safe way, while doing something new and different. I hadn't returned to my university town of Exeter since I graduated in 2012. On my way, I passed through a lovely little village, and then suddenly I was in Exeter proper, passing the quay where I used to jog a 5k every morning in my 3rd year, passing the nightclubs where I spent evenings, and the Pièce de Résistance, Exeter Cathedral. Still, it made me feel very anxious to return. I was reminded that in my 3rd year my dad had just died, and I was pushing through the year with an Atlantic weight upon my shoulders. It was also just a shock to be back in a city after so many miles of country road. I didn't want to be around people. I pushed on and headed to Honiton.
My cycling adventure was a really stark contrast of grueling cycling days and gorgeous hotels, invariably with roll-top baths, which was quite a requirement after cycling all day long. I stayed at 2 different Pig hotels, one the Pig at Harlem Bay, the other the Pig at Coombe, and the food at both was absolutely fantastic. The hotels were comfortable, beautiful, and I felt very much taken care of, which I think was also what I was seeking.
Hello. Morning. What's up? Launceston, Lidford, and then went through Postbridge, Waterhampstead, and stayed like around here, and then went through Exeter, Honiton, and then I'm off to Somerset today. Oh, goodbye to my beautiful room. I will miss you. I will especially miss you, madam, and also you, sir. And I will miss you most of all. Let's go. Lovely country roads. This is like an ancient painting. I sort of understand why people do landscapes now, I think. Oh, it just continues to get steeper and more magical, but especially steeper. It's the perfect time of year to do this, really, other than the rainy Bodmin Moor day. It's just beautiful. I'm trying to write a poem called Ode to the Little Chain, and all I have so far is Little Chain, I love you. I think I'm taking the road less travelled by, but I'm going to check to find out. I fell over. There were portents. There was a dark cloud and there was loose gravel, mine worst enemy. I said to myself, we're going to fall over now, but we're going to be okay. And it was just very soothing and calming, and I had my first aid kit, so onwards.
My final night's sleep of the cycling adventure was at Beryl, a country house in Wells, Somerset.
As I'm editing this, it occurs to me that I wasn't just seeking roll-top baths and extra comforts. I was seeking to step out of time. That's what was so jarring about Exeter. It put me back in the present, or a past I didn't really want to revisit. On this adventure, I was seeking a time outside of the churning present, but I was also seeking the landscape of the stories I read, many of which I didn't even know until this very trip existed in the real world. I'd had the experience from travels in other countries of seeing worlds from stories realised before me, but I don't know that I believed this place really existed here, on this island anymore. Something happened to my imagination on this trip. It broadened, deepened, returned.
At that time in my personal life, I was coming to grips with the end of the world, the familiar world anyway. Many of us were. Scientists said it was ending now. Philosophers said it had always been ending. Historians said there had been dark ages before. It all came out in the wash because eventually, if you were patient, enlightenment arrived, and then a wide array of Apple devices. Politicians claimed everything would be fine. Adjustments were being made. Much as our human ingenuity had got us into this fine mess, so it would neatly get us out. Maybe more cars would switch to electric. That was how we could tell it was serious, because they were obviously lying. Father pointed out the gatehouse. It had 2 round towers joined halfway up by a room with stone mullioned windows. To the right of the gatehouse nothing remained but crumbling ruins, but on the left a stretch of high, battlemented walls joined it to a round corner tower. A bridge crossed the moat to the great nail-studded oak doors under the windows of the gatehouse room, and a little door cut in one of the big doors stood slightly ajar. The minute Father noticed this, he was off towards it. Mother said vague things about trespassing and tried to stop us following him, but in the end she let us go, while she stayed behind with Thomas, who woke and wept a little. How well I remember that run through the stillness, the smell of wet stone and wet weeds as we crossed the bridge, the moment of excitement before we stepped in at the little door. Once through, we were in the cool dimness of the gatehouse passage. That was where I first felt the castle. It is the place where one is most conscious of the great weight of stone above and around one. I was too young to know much of history and the past. For me, the castle was one in a fairy tale, and the queer, heavy coldness was so spell-like that I clutched Rose hard. Together we ran through to the daylight, then stopped dead.
Having some lunch. Oh, lovely.